I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. Tonight, we are proud to be bringing you the season finale of the ESRA Challenge Series. This one coming up here from Michigan International Speedway. This one is going to be fun this evening. That is one way of putting it very, very mildly. Pack racing at its finest. This is more throwback to the IR05, IR09 crap wagon era of pack racing, but it is going to be absolutely insane here around the Michigan International Speedway. My name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here tonight. We are looking forward to enjoying some conversation with you fine folks at home, and qualifications about ready to get underway. Let's tell you a little bit about this place as we get ready to roll. Michigan International Speedway located in Brooklyn, Michigan. 2 miles will be the distance on this one. 18 big degrees of banking in the corners. Originally opened in 1968. As we mentioned, this is round number 4 of the championship. Short season, kind of interspersed throughout the ESRA IndyCar Series. Looking forward to tonight's 90-lap feature event. Cautions are going to be controlled by the iRacing. Platform restarts will be single file, and there is one attempt at an overtime finish, and we're going to have a championship battle to decide here. Only 10 points separating James Watson from Nick DeGroot. Vic Aldrich, TJ McMurray, and Christian Jasper round out your top 5 in the point standings. Let's take a look here, see who we want to pick up. Unfortunately, only single camera show here tonight, but let's take a look here. Pick up Cullen Johnston as he makes his way down the front stretch and into turns 1 and 2 on his qualification run. And we'll bring the tower up on the side of the screen. You can keep track of where your favorite is. Looks like we have 16 cars on the entry list here tonight. Something that will come into play at least a little bit here as Nick DeGroot goes 32.22 quick lap time there for Nick DeGroot in qualifications. Good lap for Vic Aldrich as well, but got to take a look at the weather conditions. 68 degrees the ambient temperature. Wind's going to be out of the north at 2 miles an hour. 93-degree track temperature. That's going to be a storyline over the course of this race. Brandon Ishkanen going to the top of the charts. He's into the 31s at a 31.918 seconds. 31.91 with an 8th the lap time for Brandon Ishkanen. And just as fast, Nick DeGroot goes even faster. 31.706. Cullen Johnston only going to be good for 4th quick. Let's pick up Eric Peterson as he makes his way through 1 and 2. Looks like a bit of a Scott Brayton throwback tribute scheme on that one. Love the paint scheme there on the 36 machine. So far, Jim Brooks, Joseph Morales, Alec Coates, TJ McMurray not yet onto the racetrack for qualifications. Vic Aldrich going to jump up to 2nd quick at a 31.722. Lap number 2 for Eric Peterson. Going to be good for now 5th quick as Charles T jumps up to 3rd at a 31.725. Peterson at a 31.742. Top 7 all in the 7s. Let's pick up your points leader as he comes around for lap number 1. And James Watson's first lap only going to be a 32.311. However, you got to get the speed wound up in these things and get a little bit of heat build up in the tires as well. Second lap definitely going to be quicker here for Watson. Gary Corley moving up to 8th quick with his second lap to a 31.777. So far, the only cars that have turned 2 laps that are not in the 31.7s is Jason Hand at a 31.825. Lap number 2 from James Watson is marginally faster. 7th quick at a 31.753. Here's Matt Wagner coming across the start-finish line. Wag's going to move up to the 7th position at a 31.75. 3/1000ths quicker than James Watson in the 8th position. Still waiting for Jim Brooks, Joseph Morales, Alec Coates, and TJ McMurray to get out onto the racetrack. And while we do that, I want to remind all of you to give us a shout in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Hopefully you are enjoying the show here this evening. Coming up next on the National Racing Network, it will be the UniPro 2000 Championship coming to you from the streets of Long Beach. That'll be coming up at 10:15 in the East. If you're a dirt racing fan, go back and find the High Side Hustle episode from tonight. 2 fantastic conversations. Shane Andrews from World Racing Group checking in. The voice, Shane Andrews, the voice of the Super Dirt Car Series, talking to Big Block Modifieds, making their first appearance in Pennsylvania in a couple of years and their first trip to the Big Diamond Speedway since 2009. Kind of hard to believe it's been that long, but great conversation with Shane. And then the guys followed it up talking to Brock Zierfoss, the most recent winner on the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series Tour. Brock with a little bit of technical issues early on. He was outplaying semi-pro golfer in the golf course he was on. Not very good for reception, but got him on for the back end of the show, and it was absolutely fantastic. Great conversation there, but qualifications are done. It's time to go racing here at the Michigan International Speedway. Some of the cars starting to get out onto the grid already, and let's get you the starting grid for tonight's race. Lining up on the front row will be the number 89 of Nick DeGroot and the 98 of Vic Aldrich. 15,000ths of a second separating those two in qualifications. Charles Teed, Ty Richter going to occupy row number 2. Cullen Johnston and Eric Peterson on row number 3. Row number 4, Matt Wagner and James Watson. Row 5, Brandon Ishkanyan and Gary Corley. All of those cars within 1/10 of a second of each other in qualifications. Jason Hand and Jeff Destino going to occupy row number 6. Row 7 tonight will have Joseph Morales and Alec Coates. Jim Brooks and TJ McMurray going to occupy row number 8. 16 cars, the starting grid for tonight's ESRA Challenge Series race. 90 laps the distance. There is a time limit that could come into play. However, it would basically require some pretty insane driving maneuvers here, is kind of what we're looking at there. See if we can't get a quick chat in here with our points leader heading into tonight, James Watson. And James, you got a lot to play for tonight, but this is going to be a pack race. This is going to be dicey. What are you feeling as we head into this one?
Not a whole lot of positive things unless something happens to Nick DeGroot, as far as my chances on actually holding the point lead after tonight.
Well, that's the interesting thing, is kind of trouble is going to be coming from all over the place here this evening, is what it sort of feels like. The pack racing is going to be intense, and really it's going to be a wild ride, even getting on and off of pit road.
Oh yeah, pit road is going to be crazy. You're going to see a few guys air mill it into the grass.
All right, bud. Well, good luck tonight here, and hopefully we're talking to you again post-race.
Here's hoping.
There you go. There's James Watson, your points leader heading into tonight. We got to get this comment up on the air here. AJ Digby checking in, driver in the Sim Racers Club and the ESRA IndyCar Series, checking in, saying, looks like it would be a blast. Good luck, drivers. Yes, This one, this one's going to be fun. That's kind of putting it mildly here. With that, it is time to go racing. And as always, fans, the start of the ESRA Challenge Series is going to be all yours. My goodness, they were just about 4 wide going through turn number 1. Nick DeGroot will lead lap number 1. No surprise there. Big move up to the outside by Matt Wagner. He wants a piece of the action. Charles Teed, Cullen Johnston going to be there as well. Quite frankly, everybody still lined up in the pack here as they're going to slide out 3 wide, battle for the race lead down the backstretch. DeGroot still going to be able to hold on to the race lead. And what's kind of interesting to me there is Matt Wagner had a very solid run, wasn't able to do anything with it. Charles Teed now going to poke out a line as they head towards turn 1. The inside lane looks like, well, I thought it was going to be the lane, but how about it? Classic slingshot maneuver. We haven't heard that since Days of Thunder. Big run by Charles Teed. He'll be your race leader off at 2, but here comes Cullen Johnston. He wants to have a look to the outside of Nick DeGroot. Might get a little bit of drafting help here as well. Already starting to see some of the cars slide up the racetrack just a little bit, and Charles Teed going to lead lap number 3. Cullen's really trying to make that outside lane work. He's got Brandon Ishkanyan right up under the rear diffuser, and one of the things the drivers were talking about in the pre-race was the fact that they could bump draft these cars without damaging the front wing. Now, you couldn't really lock on in any way, but you could definitely get the drafting done. And how about Matt Wagner? Big look up to the inside. He'll have the preferred position on Charles Teed. Drag race to the line, call up Matt Wagner by half a car length. Man, these guys are already getting squirrely. One of the things that we're going to have to consider tonight over the course of this race will be the pit strategy. And this is where things are going to get very, very interesting, is who elects to pit when and how. And the reason that we say that is this race will be a 3-stop race. Tank only has 80% of the fuel capacity in it. So 25 to 30 laps is all you're going to get out of it. Maybe if you save a bunch, you might be able to stretch it to 31, but you're going to have to go fuel save heavy early on to try to make this a 2-stop race. And quite frankly, I don't know that that's going to be the optimal strategy anyway. Teams do have 4 sets of tires in the box and available to them, along with 1 backup car. Cullen Johnston going to the race lead here at lap number 7 of 90. Still 84 laps to go. And quite frankly, the averages are still pretty insane here. 5-lap averages, very high 32s for Cullen Johnston at a 32.998. Most of the rest of the field is going to be the very low 33-second bracket, 33 flat, 33.1. Yes, AJ Digby checking in here. He did this 1 week ago. Hit strategy, fuel saving, yes. AJ Digby getting a win here in the, I guess it was the ESRA IndyCar Series. Put that 14 machine back in victory lane where it belongs for the IndyCars. Charles Teed was your race leader a couple of laps ago. He's already fallen back to the 5th position. Going for the look on Eric Peterson. He'll get the pass completed into 1. Peterson going to be able to fight back on the inside of the racetrack, though, taking the shorter line around. they will stay side by side. And quite frankly, this is what Cullen Johnston and Brandon Ishkanyan want to see. A lot of side-by-side battling, a lot of fuel burn is what's going on there. The more you're out in front, the more fuel you're burning. You wonder if James Watson hasn't gone for the strategy call already. He's back to the 11th position. He didn't seem overly confident in outright raw pace in trying to compete with Nick DeGroot for the championship. However, if you're able to sit in the pack and make the fuel last out to 31 or 32 laps, now you're in a position where this can be a two-stop race. Just back behind Charles Teed, we have Vic Aldridge, Ty Richter, Jeff Testino, Jason Hand. This is a big dogfight. Battle for third is a good one as well. Charles Teed, Nick DeGroot leading that 2x2 pack through turn number 3. Teed going to slot back down to the inside behind Nick DeGroot. That's going to keep Vic Aldridge up on the top side of the racetrack. Aldridge going to have Ty Richter there helping with the draft a little bit as well, but not anymore. Nick DeGroot way to the outside of the racetrack. He's going to fall all the way back to the 11th position, and that was a get me out of here move. Interesting that we see DeGroot move to the back. Did he see the fuel calculator number and go, ooh, light bulb moment? So top 4, all running single file. Cullen Johnston, Brandon Ishkanyan, Charles Teed, Eric Peterson. Back behind him, not so much. Well, and as we say that, Eric Peterson looks to the outside of Charles Teed as well. He'll get that pass completed. 3 wide off at turn number 2. That's where things start to get a little bit dicey. These cars definitely want to wiggle around a ton. And net code is something these drivers are going to have to deal with. Vic Aldridge up to the outside of the racetrack. He's going to do a similar thing to what we saw Nick DeGroot do. Gets it way up out of line, and I'm out of here. I don't want any parts of this. Cullen Johnston going to have a challenge for the race lead here as lap number 15 goes up on the board. Eric Peterson working to the high side. Charles Teed was in behind Peterson. Then he slots out just a little bit. The arrow push is definitely a thing. Almost a little bit of contact off at turn number 2 between Peterson and Teed. That's going to open up the door for Brandon Ishkanyan to fight back on the inside of the racetrack. Ishkanyan going to move himself all the way up to the 2nd position. Good run there. He's one of your hard chargers of the race, up 7 positions. Alec Coates was up 9. Now he's up 8 as he's kind of sliding back and forth in the middle of the pack. A little bit of dicing at the front has caught everybody right back up into this. Big move to the outside by Charles Teed. He wants the race lead back. He had the pass completed down the backstretch, but Cullen Johnston able to fight back on the inside. Peterson thought about going high. Now Teed going to swing way to the outside of the racetrack. Ooh. Man alive. Cullen Johnston, a little bit of a connection issue there, just absolutely disappearing on us for a second. Tough for Eric Peterson. He had the little bit of drafting help from Charles Teed. Now Teed going to get the run up the middle. 3 wide battle for the race lead into turn 3. Well, oh, contact. Ishkanyan goes around down the front straightaway. He's going to spin, lock it down, but we will stay green. Spun it down into the infield grass. Tough break there for Brandonish Canyon. He may be a lap down. Still see a little bit of smoke here down the front stretch. Absolute gut moment there for Brandonish Canyon. Yeah, he is just getting back up to speed here off at turn number 2. The race leaders will come past him, and Brandonish Canyon goes a lap down. Cullen Johnston goes back to the race lead. Charles Teed with a drafting help down the back stretch. Eric Peterson all alone up on the top side now. He's got some help. That's going to be Ty Richter slotting in right behind. And Ish Canyon can get back on the lead lap here. He's close enough to the front that if he races the leaders hard, leaders have an issue or somebody has an issue. Got to get himself caught back up, though. Still side by side for the race lead. That time by, it was half a car length to Cullen Johnston. Man, I'll tell you what, the lap times are not dropping much at all here. 32.945, the 5-lap average for race leader Cullen Johnston. 32.959, the 10-lap average. Not slowing much whatsoever. Charles Teed actually a little bit faster over the 10-lap average. Jason Hand, that purple and yellow car down to the inside of third place runner Alec Coates. First time we've seen Jason up towards the front here tonight. He has, it's Eric Peterson up on the outside of the racetrack. And going to be cleanly up to the 4th position as Peterson now trying to catch back in. Can't use the hill to his advantage, and Peterson's going to have to tuck down in line to the inside of the racetrack. His hand looks to the outside. Lap number 23 on the scoreboard, and it has been green flag running. You can't say clean and green, though. Early issue for Brandonish Canyon. Let's take a look here at the Hot Shoe Racewear Instant Replay. See if we can get a look and see what happened here to Brandon off of turn number 4 a couple of laps ago. Ooh, that may have been a netcode spin, but he went for a wild ride through the grass down into the infield. So Jason Hand now trying to get the job done here. All part of the Mediocre Motorsports group. Somehow Mediocre Motorsports has more drivers in their chat than Team Watson Racing does, which is a little bit interesting. So lap number 25, the fuel window is open. Charles Teed has only lost 0.03 of a second between his 15-lap average and his 5-lap average. Pretty insane, quite frankly. Jason Hand was just battling for 4th. Now he's all the way back in a fight with Jim Brooks for the 10th position. Pick up Gary Corley here in the 78. Corley on the inside of the racetrack, currently holding on to 5th. Just to his outside, though, is going to be Ty Richter. Joseph Morales right in behind Corley. Tricky pit lane to get on and off of. This far, all 16 cars still on the racetrack. Probably the biggest story about tires here is that Brandonish Canyon did not come down pit road. Kind of tells you all you need to know here. Peterson battling Ty Richter. Ty in that black and blue car on the outside of the racetrack. Peterson in the Menards colors down on the inside. Field now working lap 28. This is the longest run we saw in practice. We may see most of the field on pit lane in the next lap or so. And if they're going to try to get everybody onto pit lane, that is going to be crazy dangerous. First car already making the commitment will be Cullen Johnston. Johnston down onto the pit lane, out of the race lead, and that shows you what pushing at the front gets you. You might be able to lead laps, but you're going to burn a ton of fuel in the process. Even if you drop it down to map 2 or map 3. Possibly going to see Ty Richter on pit lane this time. Here comes Nick DeGroot back to the outside of the racetrack. Richter will be coming down. Much faster pit entry that time for Ty Richter than what we saw out of Cullen Johnston. 9.28 seconds the time of the stop for Cullen Johnston. TJ McMurray off the pit lane after 8.62 seconds for Firestone Firehawks and a full tank of Speedway racing fuel. Ty Richter, Vic Aldrich going to be on the pit lane this time. Those are a couple of Team Watson racing cars, as it looks like we're going to see Eric Peterson on pit lane as well. Several cars, also Charles Teed coming down the pit lane. Both of those cars going to lock it up on entry. That's going to put Nick DeGroot out at the front of the field all by his lonesome. The big key, though, we're at lap 31. This is now a 2-stop race for these drivers. If you could only make it to lap 28 or lap 29, you're going to have to do some mega fuel saving and hope for big-time drafting help. The longer you go, the more likely you are to have fuel left for a green-white checkered, as well as the rest of the field coming down pit lane here at lap number 31. That will make Nick DeGroot your race leader. We'll see. Charles Teed will not be able to get caught back up here before DeGroot crosses the line. So lap number 31 will be scored with Nick DeGroot as the race leader. Question becomes, did you get it down to the pit road speed limit? DeGroot, Wagner, Watson, Corley, Hand, Coates, Brooks, Morales, all on pit lane. Everybody going to be down and away right about the same time as well. Alec Coates, nice stop there. He's going to come out second. Jim Brooks, Matt Wagner, Joseph Morales. And here comes the rest of the field in the big line here. Charles Teed's going to be there. Oh, man, that was way tight. Trying to get off a pit lane. Ty Richter involved in that little mess as well, but it looks like no contact. We're going to stay green. Eric Peterson overshooting the box just a little bit. 10.15 seconds the time of the stop for Peterson. James Watson, your points leader, entering the night back in the 12th position. And he's going to be about 4 and change seconds back of your race leaders. Not sure where the delay was there on pit lane, but Nick DeGroot once again heading for the back of the line. You can run the front pack of cars, but you're going to have to save the fuel. And quite frankly, if everybody's trying to go to the back, not sure how effective the strategy is going to be. But we now have 2 distinctly different packs of race cars. First place Charles Teed through 9th place Vic Aldrich, your lead pack. Then we have Cullen Johnston, 3.1 seconds back, so a full 2 seconds behind this lead pack. Gary Corley, another 1.4 seconds back, followed by James Watson, Jason Hand, then TJ McMurray, Jeff Destino, a little bit further back from them. Brandon Ishkanyan still being scored as the only car not on the lead lap here tonight. The Cullen Johnston, Gary Corley, James Watson pack making up a little bit of ground. Cullen now only about 2.25 seconds or so separating out. As your leaders are all single file here at lap number 37, approaching the halfway point. Don't really see anything out of the ordinary for Watson, Corley, some of these guys, maybe a little bit long on the pit lane, but I guess when you're turning laps at 215 or so miles an hour, even just a couple of tenths on pit road is going to cost you a ton of time out on the racetrack. So Jim Brooks leading the race for the first time here tonight. He has led 2 laps. Started 15th plus 14 on the run for Jim Brooks. But now he has to come down pit lane. That's surprising. Oh, Brooks having a connection issue. Jim Brooks is out of the sim. The connection just absolutely died on him coming through turns 3 and 4. So your lead pack will now be 8 cars, led by Matt Wagner. Picking up his 3rd lap lead of the night. Now to the point will be Joseph Morales. The race nobody wants to lead. Tough break there for Jim Brooks. Excellent strategy call, got him up towards the head of the line and at the head of the line. And unfortunately, looks like some wonky internet will take him out of this race. Joseph Morales, now your hard charger. He's up 12 after starting in the 13th position. What's really interesting here is Nick DeGroot currently running in the 5th position. You wonder if these drivers are saving enough fuel. DeGroot really had to get to the back of the pack and do it very, very early. You wonder if some of the cars in this second pack aren't doing a little bit harder of a fuel save. Hey, our buddy Surf Gonzo checking in on Twitch. Cheering for Vic Aldrich tonight. Vic running in the 9th position. Will slot back, pick up that race car for the fans out there on Twitch. So far, not a bad run for Vic Aldrich here tonight. Actually down 7 from where he qualified. Put the car on the outside of the front row. But that's not necessarily indicative here, because if you're running in a conservative fuel map and just hanging on to the back of the lead pack, that may be all you need to do tonight to score a win. Battle getting spicy at the front. Joseph Morales, a little bit of a bizzle there down the front straightaway on Cullen Johnston. Jim Brooks finally getting back out onto the racetrack, but he is going to be a handful of laps down. Cullen Johnston goes back to the race lead. He's your top lap leader tonight, having led now 21 laps of the 44 that are complete. We are working lap number 45. It'll be cross flags next time by. really neat to watch the just little hint of aero push that these cars get on corner exit. There you saw Joseph Morales slide out just a little bit on corner exit at turn number 4. Nick DeGroot trying to get a little bit of air on the front wings, or at least as clean of air as possible. Running just outside of the line that Cullen Johnson and Joseph Morales are running. Slide back here for just a moment. Pick up this next gap of cars here. Gary Corley, James Watson, Jason Hand. They're all running nose to tail and kind of just hanging out here at this point. Running about 33 twos to the, let's see, 50 lap average, 33 flats for the top two, 32 flats, excuse me. 33 flat, 32 nines. These drivers running kind of 33 flat-ish. So they're not necessarily terrible on time. They're going to have to do some work to get caught back up here, as they are still 3.5 seconds back of your race leader. Cullen Johnston running the high line through 1 and 2. He goes back to the top spot. Pick up lap lead number 25 for Cullen Johnson as lap number 49 goes up on the scoreboard. This is now anywhere from the 17th to the 20th lap of the stint. Interesting for Cullen Johnston here. He only made it 28 laps last time. He's going to have to do something if he wants to make this a two-stop race, and leading is not the answer. Now, if you're committed to the three-stop strategy, really doesn't matter. Push the car as hard as you want and get to the front. We'll see him down pit road in the next 7 or so laps. The big question right now is, are guys like Nick DeGroot, Matt Wagner, Joseph Morales, are they hitting the fuel number that they hit before? Making it to 31 laps, you were good to get to the end. If you got to 30 laps, you're going to be really tight on fuel. Only a handful of cars able to make it to 31 laps. That includes Morales, DeGroot, Wagner, also Alec Coates, Gary Corley, James Watson, Jason Hand. Of those, Corley, Watson, and Hand are the cars running 10th, 11th, and 12th. That little separate second pack that's going on, very small one. As Morales looking to the outside of Johnston for the race lead. Everybody going to be side by side, 3 rows deep. Pace laps of 215 miles an hour here at Michigan. Last lap, 219.045 miles per hour for race leader Cullen Johnston. Cullen going to have to contend with Morales and Jim Brooks up there on the outside. Jim Brooks is a very quick race car. Unfortunately, though, a handful of laps down. And he's not in a position to get a lucky dog either, as that would currently go to Brandon Ishkanyan. So Johnston and Morales continuing their tussle at the front of the field. There's no way that Joseph Morales makes that 31-lap fuel number without the saving that he did in stint number 1. And all the time he's spent at least first or second, and even running second like that, where you're alongside the race leader, not really doing you any favors in terms of the fuel saving. Once again, things getting very spicy at the front. We'll be down to 35 laps to go next time by the start-finish line. Still Johnston, Morales, Peterson, Teed, DeGroot, your top 5. Fourth car in line, Jim Brooks, being scored multiple laps down after a connection issue. Sidelined him. 5 laps down is the number that we're seeing Jim Brooks down on timing and scoring. Morales shuffles out of line. Here comes Cullen Johnston down pit lane. This time only to lap number 27. Stop will come in, I think he's going to get over the start-finish line. So 28 laps on the stint. Cullen Johnston must stop again. We're still about 3 laps away from drivers being able to make it to the end of this one. And if you're not going to get a ton of drafting help or save a ton of fuel, really talking about having to go, let's see, seeing 33 laps to go, you're going to have to go an additional about 5 laps from here. Nobody has made that number tonight. That's where this gets very, very interesting for the cars of James Watson, Jason Hand, and Gary Corley. If they've been sitting back there just managing a number, this could work out very, very well for those race cars. Cullen Johnston has gone a lap down. DJ McMurray stopping with Cullen that time. Everybody single file down the backstretch now as Brandon Ishkanyan making his way down the pit lane. Looks like Ty Richter, Vic Aldrich going to make their way down for their stop. Still 30 laps to go. 60 in the books, 30 remain here at Michigan. Gary Corley also on the pit lane as well. Stop is done for Ty Richter. 8.7 seconds. Time of the stop is Eric Peterson. Joseph Morales going to make their way in. 9.02 seconds. The time of the stop for Vic Aldrich. Absolutely outstanding racing from the stars of the ESRA Challenge Series here tonight. 62 laps green, as we're going to see Charles Teed make his way down pit lane, as is Alec Coates as well. Matt Wagner now at the head of the field. He's gone 31 laps, and quite frankly, he's going to make 32, I think, before he comes down pit lane. Matt Wagner going to come through to the race lead, but they're all tailing in behind Jim Brooks. DeGroot has to get down to the inside of the racetrack, and he does. Nick DeGroot, Matt Wagner, both coming down pit lane this time, as are Charles Teed, Alec Coates, and James Watson. Down to 27 to go. All 5 of these race cars will be able to make it to the end of this one. Watson on his way out of the pits, as are Charles Teed and Alec Coates. We're going to stay right here on Nick DeGroot and Matt Wagner. Both of those cars down and away. And at this point, it looks like James Watson may need some help if he wants to claim an ESRA Challenge Series championship. Slotting out right where they went in, right behind Jim Brooks with a pile of race cars back behind them. Right now, it's a 2-car battle as Wagner looks to the outside. Getting some downforce on those wings. Down to 26 laps to go. A handful of cars will have to make an additional pit stop. At least we think they will anyway. And quite frankly, this is exactly what Nick DeGroot wanted to see. He can make it the rest of the way without fuel saving. However, if you happen to have a green-white checkered finish, you're probably going to have to come down pit road unless you're doing some fuel saving. So hang out right in line here behind Jim Brooks. Take advantage of the draft and just sip on that fuel. However, the hanging out behind Jim Brooks is allowing Ty Richter, Eric Peterson, Alec Coach, Charles Teed, and Joseph Morales to catch back in. They're making up ground, but still about 1.4 seconds back or so. Gained about a tenth between the start-finish line and the entrance to turn number 1. Still plenty of time left to go for these cars to get caught back up, especially if they're going to stay in line like that. Sliding back just a little bit here. Eric Peterson, Ty Richter, Alec Coach, Charles Teed, and Joseph Morales. Those cars are nose to tail, and they are making up a bunch of ground on your race leaders. Now down to 1.1 seconds back. So they gained 0.3 in just a couple of laps or so. The amazing thing to me is how little drop-off we're seeing in the lap times. Just absolutely incredible. The second pack of cars is still the second pack of cars. Vic Aldrich, Cullen Johnston, James Watson, Gary Corley, all running kind of nose to tail. TJ McMurray, Jason Hand, Jeff Destino, 16 plus seconds back. Gap holding steady to the race leaders. These drivers are going to have to stay in line at least until they're within range of the leaders and getting their tow. Once they're getting the tow from the race leaders, then you're going to feel the pull one way or the other. Nothing changing at the front of the field. Well, as we say that, Matt Wagner going to take the run at Nick DeGroot, but we're almost 3 wide heading into turn number 1. We're going to stay right here on this pack as Jim Brooks has gotten down to the inside and out of the way. Going to let the leaders battle it out. Ooh, that was sketchy heading into 3. Nice job there by, I believe it was Alec Coates. Swing way down towards the apron and avoid the contact. While this fight was going on, we had the battle for the race lead as well. Matt Wagner getting the great toe down the front stretch. He goes inside of Nick DeGroot. No sense in DeGroot challenging that one. We'll go back to the live look. Eric Peterson, Ty Richter still side by side. Big shot up the gut from Joseph Morales. What a move. He's going to go 3 wide. Thank you very much. I'll go 2 for 1. It's a great battle back here, but these drivers are losing time to your race leaders. The gap back up to 1.6 seconds to, again, race leader Nick DeGroot coming around Matt Wagner. At some point, your better angels have to kick in here and say, guys, we have to get single file. Or we're just not going to make, there's just not enough time to make up the ground. Remember, don't go anywhere at the conclusion of this one. Following our ESRA Challenge Series coverage, it will be the Indy Pro 2000 Championship coming up from the streets of Long Beach. That race always entertaining with the PM18s. I guess discretion, not the better part of valor for these guys. And the ESRA Challenge Series really meant to be kind of a fun interlude type series during the summer months when a lot of drivers are taking vacations. Maybe they can't compete every week. So you kind of build in some breaks into the regular ESRA IndyCar Series schedule. These drivers, they're still competitors. Put a car out in front of somebody, they want to pass it. Let's slide back up to the front of the field here as Matt Wagner and Nick DeGroot finally clearing lap traffic. It's going to be 11 laps to go this time by the start-finish line. DeGroot back to the inside of Wagner. Look at that pass completed, quite frankly, quite easily. Again, catching up to lap traffic. Next car up is going to be the 19 of Brandonish Canyon. And the lead now sitting at 3 seconds for Nick DeGroot and Matt Wagner over third place, Joseph Morales. And these guys are just going to trade the lead, sit tucked in behind lap traffic, use that kind of leapfrog drafting to open up a very big gap. Cullen Johnston just ran the fastest lap of the race at a 32:33. Absolutely flying. He's up to the 5th position, but I think Cullen may need to make another pit stop here. He's already 25 laps into his stint, and the longest he's gone all night is 28 laps, now 26 laps into the stint. And how about James Watson? Watson with a great recovery drive. All the battling that these cars did, they fell right back into the clutches of Watson. He's now going to be looking inside. This could be a championship deciding run for James Watson. Basically puts Nick DeGroot almost into a must-win situation if Watson comes home third. Down to 7 to go. Wagner back to the inside of DeGroot. Again, they're going to keep that drafting up. The gap now at 4 and change seconds. Watson needs a yellow flag to have a shot at the win. And they do have one shot at overtime. Watson giving the bump draft down the front stretch to down the back stretch to Eric Peterson. Cullen Johnston, TJ McMurray on pit lane. They couldn't make the fuel last. 5 to go here at Michigan. Oh, oh man, what a save. That was Joseph Morales. He was up over the rear wheels of James Watson. Looks like the car is undamaged. Watson again giving the shove down the back straightaway. And I'll tell you what, Watson, I mean, he's trying to push Eric Peterson back towards the front. Oh, excuse me. With only 4 laps to go, Watson's not going to get there. He needs a caution flag, and he needs to not be the caution flag. Nick DeGroot, currently the race leader. You'll see them swapping, DeGroot and Wagner. Just trading the lead back and forth here, trying to open up the gap as much as possible. Big run down to the inside for Alec Coates. He's going to try to go 2 for 1 on Watson and Peterson through 3 and 4. 2 to go. Watson up on the high side of the racetrack. 3 wide the battle down the front stretch. Watson's going to get the shove. He'll be up to 3rd. This may come down to calculating bonus points for this final race. Nick DeGroot will not get the bonus point for most laps led. That's going to go to Cullen Johnston. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. Matt Wagner holding off Nick DeGroot. DeGroot looking to the outside of the racetrack. Wagner's not going to make this easy. Little bit of drafting help coming. Wagner to the inside. DeGroot to the outside as they head for 3. DeGroot tries to get the run. He's going to tuck right back in line. This one's going to be an absolute drag race to the line. Wagner to the inside. Nick DeGroot outside. Who is it at the line? Nick DeGroot at the line. Pips Matt Wagner. James Watson comes home third. They're going to wad him up after the checkered flag. I am seeing a timing and scoring gap of 0 between Nick DeGroot and Matt Wagner. What a finish. Oh my goodness. Take a look at this one again here. Great run by Nick DeGroot. Got way up on the outside of the racetrack, tucked right back in beneath Matt Wagner off of 4. DeGroot started to peak a little bit high. I almost wonder if Matt Wagner didn't commit to the inside too early. And it gave Nick DeGroot a chance to, he basically didn't have to move the wheel all that much. Side by side drag race to the line. Wow. What a finish. As we go back to the live look, Nick DeGroot burning it down in victory lane. Oh my goodness. Let's just see what the numbers officially say for our race results. Nick DeGroot, your winner by 2 1/1000ths of a second over Matt Wagner. James Watson comes home third, 3.8 seconds back. It was a valiant effort. But Watson ultimately, I think, will not claim a championship. However, I don't remember the IndyCar scoring exactly. This one is going to be very, very close. Ty Richter, Alec Coates round out your top 5, 6 through 10 tonight. Eric Peterson, Vic Aldrich, Joseph Morales, Charles Teed, and Gary Corley. Everybody else finishing 1 or more laps down, including Jason Hand, Cullen Johnston, Jeff Destino, TJ McMurray, Brandon Ishkanyan, and Jim Brooks. What a race. Oh, that was absolutely incredible. Let's get ready for our victory lane interviews here. We got to move Matt Wagner and James Watson up here, and we will start everything with our third place finisher tonight, Mr. James Watson. And oh man, James, what a drive tonight. I'm a little bit interested to know what happened at the pit cycle that got you a couple of seconds back, because the car looked quick, especially there at the end.
I took it a little too easy into my pit box, and someone was trying to exit pit road side by side with me, so I had to let off to let them by, and that cost us all that time.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, the car looked good, and ultimately you guys put on a hell of a show here coming down the stretch. You guys were doing the bump drafting, you were doing it all. Ultimately, it looks like going to come up about 8 points short or so of Nick DeGroot for a championship, but still a fantastic little 4-race stint here for you.
Yeah, 2,000 short of a championship, man. I'm just, I guess I'm never gonna fucking win a ESRA championship second again for like the third time now. It's super frustrating.
A lot to look forward to, though, here coming up for the rest of the regular ESRA Series season. What are your thoughts as we head into that? The Challenge Series was fun, but this was supposed to be a fun run. The ESRA Series is really kind of what you guys are shooting for, and a lot to look forward to here down the stretch.
Yeah, but I have no chance, so it is what it is. I'm just looking to get what I can.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations on a very nice third place finish here tonight. Congratulations on that, and a runner-up finish in the championship. And Before we let you go, get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
I gotta thank everyone at Team Watson Racing Setups, everyone at you and everyone at National Racing Network, JS Designs for doing my schemes, Mart Sports Sim Racing Apparel, Let's Race Events.
All right, buddy.
That's pretty much it.
Well, thank you much. Looking forward to having you. We're going to perk you up in the booth here when we get to Long Beach because it was a hell of a season you had, and congratulations on it once again. But now it's time to talk to our runner-up finisher in the point standings, Mr. Matt Wagner. Oh, my goodness, Matt. That was – the sim is calling it 2000s. I am not seeing much more than an inch separating you from Nick DeGroot at the finish line. What would you have done anything different on that final lap?
I'm actually stunned. I thought I had that. I really did. Maybe it was the bumps on the apron because this league calls for you can run the apron on the last lap. So maybe it was the bumps on the bottom of the track. Maybe if I would have stayed above the apron and killed his momentum, maybe that would have sealed it. But you never know. It's already been done.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought was, did you almost commit to the bottom too early? But we know what they say about ifs and buts. How much fun is that running with a guy, especially someone like Nick that you've run with a ton, you know you can trust, you're not going to wad each other up. That has to be a blast behind the wheel.
Yeah, me and Nick have ran many, many, many races together, even in the officials, and he's a hell of a talent. I've learned from him, and I've pretty much put it to use. So it's really been fun. I can trust him on track. He knows what I'm doing. He exactly knows what I'm doing. Then I know what he's doing, and that what pretty much separated us from the field because they weren't trade drafting. If they would have got a little bit more organized, they probably would have called us.
Yeah, we called that one out during the race, that you guys were doing that kind of swap drafting, and you worked it to perfection and really made it where you two could settle this race among yourselves.
Yeah, the lap traffic actually helped out a little bit, but there was a little slight bumps on the road, but that goes with people trying to fight for their lap back. But I really don't blame them guys in case a caution does come out. So hats off to those guys for racing us clean there.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on picking up the runner-up finish here tonight, and looks like third overall in the championship. Great run for you this season, and let's make sure you get all those sponsor plugs in.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, I got a brand new paint scheme. I'd like to thank the guys over at HyperX. Great headsets. I know you guys are watching in other leagues. I really do appreciate it. Buckkirker putting on many, many, many things. I'm going to invest in one actually here probably toward the end of the year, and I'm really looking forward to it. And you guys put on a hell of a broadcast. I really enjoy it. So, guys, it's been real. Thank you very much. It was a great race.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you very much. And now it's time to bring in our race winner and series champion. By 2/1000ths of a second, not only did you claim a win, but you claimed a championship, as it was less than 10 points that separated you from James at the end of the season. Congratulations. I mean, that was, I said the same question I asked Matt. How much fun is that driving with somebody that you can really trust out on the racetrack, and just being able to put on a show like that?
Yeah, I've lost count of how many battles I've had with Matt, and it's always a toss-up with him because he knows what he's doing. And I love that when we got that breakaway that it was me and Matt Wagner, because I'm like, this is going to be a good race to the finish. And bonus points before that, we can work together and get away from everybody, make sure nobody else has a chance, which was nice as well. But yeah, that finish there was amazing. I did not think I had it. I crossed that line thinking I was second, and I was looking to my left, and I was just shocked. And I'm like, wow, okay, awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. I asked Matt this, and did you almost go, I have a shot at this when you saw him dive to the apron as early as he did? Because once he was committed there, any other move would have killed his momentum. And you kind of didn't have to move much on your line and change your or lose any of the momentum you had.
Yeah, I think in hindsight that really helped me, but in the moment I was kind of like, oh man, I didn't get a big enough run. This isn't going to be good enough. It's not going to work out. But yeah, like you said, he made that move, which probably scrubbed a little speed, and then just the bumps on the apron probably scrubbed a little more. Not to mention I was already having a little bit of a run, so it just came together. If the finish line was, another 10 feet back the other way, that would have been the race. But I was nervous too coming to the white flag because we had Brandon there pitting. And I had no problem with what he did. It just set me up in a position where I was further behind Matt than I wanted to. And I kind of went into like panic mode and wanted to make up that gap. And so I caught him on the backstretch, which put me in that weird position in 3 and 4 where I'm like, I'm too close. I don't want to be this close. But hey, it worked out. It worked out.
Yeah, it was, to use the Chet Christner line, almost like you got up the hill, grab a little gravity, and turn back down to rebuild that momentum. Absolutely brilliant drive down the stretch there. And congratulations on picking up an ESRA Challenge Series championship as well. I know it's only a little 4-race stint, but man, a win's a win and a title's a title.
Yeah, I love these cars. Got those 2 championships in these cars in the Dark Horse Series with Charles Teed and his series. So it's always cool to run these whenever I get the chance. And as we've seen with just 4 races this season, they put on quite the show. And James Watson, he was really consistent. When I saw he got 3rd there, I wasn't sure that a win was going to be enough because I wasn't sure about the whole point system. Only after did I find out there was like a 10-point swing between 1st and 2nd. I'm like, okay, perfect. But yeah, either way, I was happy with those 4 races, whichever way it went. But it's always cool, like you said, to pick up another championship to put in the resume and to race against guys like this. It's always fun. They're a great group.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the win and the championship here. And before we let you go, let's make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, thank you to everybody at Factory Back Motorsports, as always, from Covenmore.com, Motorsport.com, Cowboy Shit Canvas Shoes, to Good Automotive U-Haul and Detailing. It's always cool to have such great people backing us and excited about what we're doing out here and looking forward to the next challenge.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And man alive, that was fun. That is the only way that we can call that one. A race that took about 45 minutes to get completed. Absolutely insane how quickly that race went. 90 laps, clean and green, no cautions, everybody cleanly on and off of pit road. Absolute brilliance out of Nick DeGroot and Matt Wagner executing the tandem draft to perfection. Man, that was fun. A little bit heartbroken there for James Watson. Kid's going to get one. He's going to get one here in the ESRA IndyCar Series, the ESRA Challenge Series. We're looking forward to talking to him here in just a little bit here as well on our Indy Pro 2000 Championship broadcast. That one coming up from the streets of Long Beach. I can't believe we got a half hour's worth of downtime here. Usually we're kind of up against it, but man, great race like we had tonight. Runs clean, green, and smooth. We'll take them every day of the week. Next week, the regular ESRA IndyCar Series is back with their penultimate round of the championship. That one coming up from Sebring, a road course for a 50-minute feature. That one's going to be fun. Then they're taking the IR-18s to Chicagoland Speedway to wrap up the season. More pack racing. I love it. This is going to be a great way to round out the ESRA IndyCar Series season. With that, we are getting the heck on out of here. Time for us to get ready for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship coming up here in just a half hour or so. Don't go anywhere. And for everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these broadcasts happen, including my partner James Watson coming up here in a little bit, Connor Baldwin, fantastic work on the camera design as always, and everybody else here. My name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a good night, everybody.